Hello, yes, this is Dr. Organ here, and yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better, but I'm not going to be certainly not going to be in class tomorrow, and obviously it may be cancelled because of the snow. So we'll carry on with the videos, and this will be the second video, and I hope then there'll be another video third, and may have to be a fourth, but we'll just look at this. So I'm going to try and zoom through it and concentrate on the key bits. Now let's just go over what we did on the first video, that we want to calculate the price elasticity of demand, which is the percentage change in the quantity demanded over the percentage change in price. And one thing I realized I didn't do in that first video is go through what's called the midpoint formula, or the mathematics behind it. And so here we have a situation where the price has changed, and we want to see how much. We know the quantity demanded, the price has gone down, we know the quantity demanded will go up, but the question is how much. And so what we need to do is use the midpoint formula to find, because remember what we're trying to find is this, the percentage change in the quantity demanded over the percentage change in the price. So what we're doing is we're taking the change, this triangle means the change in the quantity over the quantity average, which is, and then that will be over the percentage change in price, which is the change in price over the average price. And so let's look at the quantity demanded, which is the quantity demanded. We know originally it was 9, and so that the quantity 1 is 9, quantity 2 is 11, and we say, well, that's minus 2 over, if you think about the average of those two quantities, 1 is 9, so then it's the quantity 1 minus quantity 2 over quantity 1 plus quantity 2 over 2. So it's like the average. So basically we go from 9 to 11, which is minus 2. We just use the absolute value 2 over the average of these two prices. So 9 plus 11 is 20, over 2 is 10. So it's 2 over 10. So it's a 20% movement in price. Sorry, 20% movement in quantity. And then we do the same with the price, where the change in price is price 1 is 20.50, price 2 is 19.15. So that's effectively change of $1 over the average price, which is 20.50 plus 19.50 together, which is 40, divided by 2, which makes $20. So that's $1 divided by $20 times 100, 5%. And so the price elasticity of demand is 4, because it's 20% over 5%. And that's how to work it out. The midpoint formula, you'll have to do it a few times, but you'll get it. And we'll talk about it sort of maybe at the beginning of Tuesday's class. But, okay. So let's go back to where we were. So that's just a little overview of that first video. But let's understand elasticity by these extreme cases. If you had a situation where, however much the price is, the quantity demanded would not change, that would be called perfectly inelastic demand. Now, that's a very, very rare case, but that's a situation. And things like things that you may be addicted to, pharmaceutical drugs, things that you have to have, whatever the price, generators during some storm, some complete blackout, something like that. That's a perfectly inelastic product. The other situation is what is called unit elastic, that any change in price has the same corresponding percentage change in quantity demanded. That would be called unit elastic. That would be where the elasticity is 1, because the elasticity in this case would be 0. So that's very inelastic. 1 is unit elastic, where it's the same, if the prices goes up by 10%, quantity demanded will go down by 10%. If price goes down by 10%, quantity demanded will go up by 10%. That's unit elasticity, and that will always be a curved line. And then in if it's so basically if the price elasticity is less than one, the good has an elastic demand. If the percentage change in the quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price, the price elasticity of demand is greater than one, and the good has elastic demand. And the extreme case of elastic demand is a perfectly elastic demand is where the elasticity is infinite. That if there's a tiny change in price, you'll either gain all the business or lose all the business. These are what is called a perfectly elastic product, you know? And obviously that leads to the big question is what actually influences the elasticity of demand? What makes something an elastic product rather than an inelastic product? And ultimately, the closeness of substitutes is a big one. So if as the price rises, you can just go to something else, that means it's going to be pretty elastic. You know, firms can't raise their prices because everyone will jump ship to the substitutes. And often, if the proportion of income, if we spend more of our income on a particular good, we're probably going to be more sensitive to the price. It's going to be more elastic. And then also the time elapsed since the price change. Normally, if something hasn't, like with the internet, it hasn't gone up for a while, when they put the price up, you'll accept it. So it's going to be less elastic. Elastic demand will be where you have a lot of substitutes. So if it's like, say, a Toyota Corolla versus a Honda Accord versus a Hyundai Elantra, they're effectively the same car. So if one puts up a price, you buy the other one. And so that makes it more elastic. Tend to be luxury goods tend to be more elastic. Exotic vacations, things like that, because it's more in your luxury budget. You're gonna easily sort of shop around. And then the proportion of income spent on the good, and then the time elapsed since price change. Now, just finally on this area, we realize that elasticity changes along a line. Now, you don't need to understand this. This is very, very mathematical. But on a straight line, it's usually going to be more elastic to the top. It's going to be sort of unit elastic in the middle and inelastic towards the end. And so, we could work this out sort of mathematically. If you want to do the midpoint formula, you can try and do it on this line. Look at the changes in price, what it does to quantity demanded along this line. So you'd find out at the top end of the line, it would be the elasticity would be 4 if you did the midpoint formula. But if you did it lower down the line, it would be 1. And if you actually did it further down the line, it would be a quarter. That could be, if you're confused with this stuff, try and work that out using the midpoint formula. And so, again, this is all mathematical, and in some sense, you don't need to understand it. You just need to be able to plug and chug the figures. Okay, that'll do for this video.